What's the best free EQ plugin? I'll give you my top 5 must-have free EQ plugins. I'm Carter at Avid Waves TV by Plug Play. EQ plugins are one of the most important tools in the process of creating your masterpiece. Thankfully, in 2022, there are some really cool free EQ plugins available to help us improve our sound. In today's video, I'm gonna walk you through my top 5 must-have free EQ plugins. I'm also gonna show you my absolute free EQ plugin, but honestly, all of them worth downloading and trying because they all have different features and advantages. But before we get to the video, if you like this kind of content, home recording, mixing, plugin reviews, please do subscribe to our channel and ring the bell on YouTube so you'll be notified about my future videos. Now, let's get stuck into some EQ plugins. In number 5, I have the SlickEQ plugin from Tokyo Dawn Records. I've got all their free plugins and all their commercial plugins as well. And what I really like about them is they always give you some kind of surprise. They're really useful, and this is no difference. This one has got a couple of surprises, but first of all, let's take a look at the basic operation. So it's a 3-band EQ plugin. So we have control for the low, mid, and high bands over here. There is no graphic display there. There's no spectrum analyzer. And you can't push the nodes around like you can on some other EQs. That's more like an old-fashioned analog style EQ plugin. If you find that a little bit of confusing to use, I encourage you to download something like this, or even specifically this one, and give it a try, because it's really going to help you to train your ears rather than use your eyes all the time when you're mixing. Now, the basic thing you need to do is select a frequency. Like I would select something like 100 over here, and then you can either boost that particular frequency using the gain control. Now also for the low and the high frequencies, we've got a couple of different types of keys. There is a shelf over here, there's a bell curve, there's also this high pass filter for the bottom end, so you can cut out that low rumble. You just select your frequency and that will slope off and cut off things below that frequency. So those are your basic controls. Let's say you're working on a track like this and you might want to boost the high frequencies. Let's have a listen. That's really pulling out those hi-hats, just give that high frequencies a boost. So that's a basic operation. But what are the extras? First of all, there are different modes to this EQ. So as you can see, if I flick through that, we've got this American one in here. We've got this British mode, we've got this German mode, and also this Soviet mode. All that does is it changes the nature of those curves. There's a lot of it in the documentation. But basically, it changes a lot of the nature of the slope, how steep those curves are, and the nature of the curves. That gives your EQing a different feeling. The other extra thing you get with this particular plugin is some saturation control. When you do start to boost frequencies, it will start to add some saturation, and You've got some different types of saturation to choose from. Over here, we have the linear, silky, mellow, deep, and funky. It's very, very subtle. So don't worry if you don't listen to these different modes or if you can't really hear any difference. You do have to listen very, very carefully because it's very subtle. So that's my number 5 pick, SlickEQ plugin. At number 4, we have the Marvel GEQ plugin. Looking at their graphic equalizer, we can say that it's a really straightforward plugin. We have these 20 bands of EQ over here, and if you want to increase to a certain frequency range, then of course you can simply slide that up and there to increase it and down to decrease it. You can also use your mouse wheel, which feels much more organic. You can also go to the numbers at the bottom and then you can drag up and down to increase or decrease from there. So I'm going to go ahead and use some EQ on this track. So let's have a listen. This Marvel GEQ plugin allows audio engineers and musicians to apply EQ adjustments quickly, both to audio tracks and full mixes. The linear phase filtering offered by Marvel GEQ is suitable for EQ tasks where high quality and excellent sonic character are a must. No matter whether you're looking at this plugin from the perspective of coding, functionality, the sound quality, or design and user friendliness, this plugin is a top notch. If you're looking for an EQ plugin for manipulation, go ahead and download this one. Number 3, Triple EQ plugin by Blue Cat Audio. You can control the entire equalizer features with a single mouse click. The graph shows the computed frequency response of the plugin so that you can know exactly how your signal is processed. The controls are directly available on the top of the filter graph, making the design of the filter shape even easier. The plugin also offers dual channels version with independent left, right, or mid-side EQ capabilities. Both channels can be linked together in many ways, letting you transform this plugin into a frequency-dependent banner and much more. The plugin can be controlled in real time with MIDI or automation. It is capable of absolutely zipper-free, clean, and continuous time varying EQ with no latency. It is the ideal companion of our audio analysis tools for signal-dependent sidechain filtering. This plugin comes in 3 different flavors, one for mono sources, one for stereo sources, and this dual plugin over here where we can adjust the left and the right channels separately. Something unique about this plugin is the range of adjustment. We can actually reduce the frequencies by up to 20 decibels or increase them by up to 20 decibels. That's already a massive range of 40 decibels. But if we go to this 40 decibel mode, we have a massive 40 decibels in reduction, 40 of increased decibels. So we can accomplish a massive range of 80 decibels. We can put in the mirror mode. So if I make a change in the upward direction on one side, that is going to make a downward change on the other side. I find that quite handy for making adjustments to stereo images where I want to create a little bit more width. So that is a triple EQ plugin from Blue Cat Audio. Number 2, MEqualizer by Melda Production. At number 2, we have the MEqualizer plugin from Melda Production. The MEqualizer plugin comes in number 2 because it's feature rich. But before we get stuck into these features, there is a free version and also a paid version. The MEqualizer plugin is an extremely easy to use and powerful 6-band equalizer with 6 filter types for each band, integrated tube saturation and harmonics control. They have created an adaptable plugin with a vintage analog sound. It also provides an advanced visualization including a spectrum analyzer and sonogram. We have 6 nodes over here to adjust different bands in the frequency ranges, so we can turn them on by double clicking on them. We can drag them around as we wish. We can adjust the EQ with our mouse wheel, or we can move these lines in and out. In addition to that, if we right click on a node, we get lots of options there for different types of curves. Let's select the analyzer over here and play some audio. As you can see, the difference there with that analyzer, which the adjustment of the 4th node has made, looks good, and it seems nice having that visually. We also have a sonogram. Let's turn that on and then turn the analyzer off. If you're starting out, we also have the maps, which might help you out. When we have the music playing, we also have the auto listen feature, which solos the node. It's really handy for being able to hear exactly what frequency ranges you're adjusting. And last, we have some saturation. Let's take a look at that. Number 1. Nova by Tokyo Dawn Records. The number 1 is Nova from Tokyo Dawn again, and I really love their product. I've chosen this one because it's got a particular feature which I really like, and we haven't seen that on the other plugins. Let's look at the basics. It's got 4 bands over here. You can drag them around, or you can use the buttons to adjust the features. You can adjust the type of curves. You can also adjust the curves down over here through these curves patterns. We also have the high pass filter and low pass filter. We also have an analyzer. Let's turn that on. That's really handy. What's interesting about this plugin, it's the dynamic equalizer. That means we've got a compressor in which one of these nodes over here that works like a multi-band compressor. This feature is really useful. Take a look at this feature. Let's move this node a little bit and turn on the threshold. As you can see, as soon as the snare hits the node, it starts to compress that frequency over there. Let's increase a little bit of the ratio. It compresses and controls the frequency so it doesn't sound too harsh. The built-in spectrum analyzer and the excellent equal loudness functionality make Nova an intuitive mixing and mastering equalizer for newcomers as well as experienced users. The most impressive thing about Nova is how easily it transforms from a simple parametric EQ into a super precise dynamic equalizer. You can use it, for example, on a acoustic guitar high frequency where you have glistening features, and some of them might be slapping the strings in between strums, and that can get a little bit harsh. So you can use a dynamic EQ to grab certain frequencies and then compress them when they get out of control. That's a really useful, nice looking plugin. Really simple and straightforward to use, and it's free. Love it. You can download these top 5 free EQ plugins down below. Did you find that useful? If you did, you can let me know by hitting the like button down below. And if you have any questions, ask in the comments down below. Let me know which one is your favorite free EQ plugin of these top 5. If you've got any EQ plugin which is not on the list, you can let us know. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ring the bell so you'll be notified about my future videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next video.